ladies and gentlemen.
It's the Backyard Macker Show.
Backyard Maker Show.
We speak that realness.
Peace, interweblians, my people, my beautiful internet people. Welcome back to the Backyard Mecca Show, backyardmeccashow.com. We are live once again from Night Owl Studios at the 415 building in Shelton, Connecticut. We got another great show, man. I know we say that all the time, but yo, X,
We'll be having great shows.
They're great shows, right?
Yeah.
I'm Self-Mathematics. I'm here along with my co-host Xavier. X,
What's good,
brother?
Chilling, man. I'm doing well, man.
How's your week? How's your weekend?
Very, very busy. I've been having healing sessions to the point where I'm not working as much.
You don't stop, bro. That's good.
I gotta stay motivated.
That's good, man. That's good. You know, we don't always have, so when we have is.
I'm happy to, man. You have no idea. It's been a long time coming to get to this point in my life.
Yeah,
so I'm enjoying it.
No, I know, man. I know. Trust me, man. You deserve it too, bro.
Thank you.
So yeah, man. You know, we got a dope guest in the building today. But before we get into that, man, I just want to kind of talk about a few things going on, man. The whole Bill Cosby thing, man. How do you feel about that, bro? and Quest, you could chime in if you want to.
Somebody else go first.
Yeah. All right. So he got found guilty on basically all counts. I think it was 30 counts or some shit like that. Or not 30 counts, but it was something like that, something ridiculous. So you know, obviously, rape is horrible and drugging women is horrible. But you know, a lot of people get mad at me because I always say, but what if? Because you know, I wasn't there, nobody else was there, so I'm always looking at the other angles.
There's definitely always a what if aspect of things.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the big things is like, you know, this is 30-year-old evidence that they used on him, you know, and you know, remember back then, you know, the 80s and all that, like there was little to no technology compared to what we have now. So, you know, one of the things that we were talking about online the other day was it's crazy how they could find out and prove him being guilty with 30-year-old evidence, but these cops that are murdering people right on camera today, you know what I'm saying, are not being found guilty. So, you know, there goes the I don't know if you want to call it privilege or the catch-22 or whatever, but you know, yeah. I mean, not that I'm siding with him, you know what I'm saying, because I don't know if the man did that, you know what I mean. We don't know, but it's also like, why wait so long to you know what I mean. It's like that Me Too shit became real. It was a trend. Like, you know how these fidget spinners came out and the kids were playing with them? It's like kind of like that is how I look at it anyway. But
well, not only that, but just think about all of the other people that have been accused of similar types of things that don't necessarily get as you know, this level of press, you know what I mean? Like, why is so focused on Bill Cosby's conviction, and people will get adamant about, you know, think he's getting what he's got coming to him, and you know, you got several other people in the media that you know are accused of the same things, but you don't hear them shouting out.
Yeah, they either got fired or you know, they smack on the wrist and
shit. The president of the United States.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is one of them, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
I mean, I look at it like this. Because I most of my clients are women, so I hear about some heavy shit. Okay, so to me it's not far fetched that if it's true, that it would be true. It's just not.
Oh no, absolutely.
You know what I mean? So whether it took a long time or not, I don't look at any of that either, because we're talking about the industry here. You know what I mean? If it's somebody that's protected, hell yeah, what you saying ain't gonna get to nobody's ears. You know, that's what paperwork and contracts and lawyers are for. So you never hear what somebody else is accusing you for. You know what I'm saying? So I could see how it could be a long time before something like this comes to the surface about somebody like Bill Cosby, because he's a brand. You know what I mean? And he represents a lot of money. He represents an idea.
Yeah, but people like to attack that too. You know what
right. And I understand that. So there's both sides to that. Man. People want to. There's both sides to that. So now, but does that mean I put it past him? Hell, motherfucker, no.
Oh, no,
you know what I'm
not.
saying? Because it's fucking Hollywood. Like, it's Hollywood.
He's a human being, and we, we all
and it's
have
Hollywood. Like, let's not forget that. Like, this is fucking Hollywood. We're not even talking about like, oh, I'm at the job down the street and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, homeboy down the street been working there for 30 years. Nah, he ain't do that. No, we talking about Hollywood. Yeah. So, I mean, when you put that into play, I can't necessarily put it past him, and I can't necessarily put it past the people that are in power that want him to get caught out. Like, I don't know what he did to be a target. That's my question. I wonder what he did to be a target.
Well, you know what, people, not to cut you off, man, and I don't know how true this is because I haven't dug deep enough, but people were saying back in, I think, the 90s, 92, 93, he was going to buy NBC.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
And
I heard.
Again, don't quote me on that. Do your own research, like we always say. Do your own research. But that's something that's flying around that he was going to try to buy NBC. And that for a black man to do that, and especially in that time and era, even today, that's a big that's a lot of control for a brother. You know what I'm saying? So I mean that's something that's flying around.
Just like with R. Kelly, like all these people were protected for all this period of time. Like everybody knew R. Kelly was doing what nobody cared. All of a sudden now people care. You see what I'm trying to say? Like these people had a good run, as we call it, to doing whatever they was doing, and there wasn't nothing going on. Something happened for now it to be a problem where the media is now also backing these things that people are saying about these people, when these things have been said for years. It's nothing new. Like the Harvey Weinsteins and all these other people, the whole industry already knew about. It wasn't nothing new for them. But for the public, it was like, I didn't know because we're not in their world. You know what I mean? So that's what I mean. Like, I feel like it's deeper than just he did it or not. I think it's more so like, what did he do to be a target? You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's very similar to politics when you have a politician who does all kinds of dirt, but it's only when he's running for a certain office where all of a sudden all the things that people knew about come to light. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
they're allowed to be there too. Like you might see them on every news channel.
Until you go against the grain, then that's when. That's what they do though. That's what this Hollywood and all that they. I read a lot of shit, man, and they pocket you from the beginning and to let you know, you do something, I got this photo of you, I got this, you know what I'm saying? Blackmail.
I wouldn't even put it past people to put you in a position where you make those types of mistakes to then put yourself vulnerable to when you decide to try to elevate or do better things, that all of a sudden they have something on you.
Like Dave Chappelle ran away to Africa. He ran away from 50. Like you gotta consider what do they see? What do they see? What do they know? To run away from all that, like I mean, not just run away, but I mean, like, disappear, try to, like, just, and he even talked about it. I don't know, I look
it's
at
interesting, man.
Things like that, right?
It's interesting because it goes on a lot. You know what I mean?
It's a whole rabbit hole, a whole bunch of rabbit holes to jump down, But so that when I think of Bill Cosby stuff, I just look at it like that, like, what did he do? He did something. He became a target. He did something because, and I wouldn't doubt if he did it, like.
Yeah, no, it's definitely possible. He's a human being,
right?
You know what I'm saying? But it's also definitely possible that he didn't do it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So like, basically, I'm gonna end it like this, man. Like, I wish him the best, regardless. If he did it and it's fucked up, you know what I'm saying? That's fucked up. He can serve his time. He can do what he got to do. Mm-hmm. And to those women, you know what I'm saying? That's a horrible thing that happened to the women, and I feel sorry about it. But also, there was a few people that got caught. That's the other thing. There was women that were retracting their statements because they were coming out. You know what I mean?
And see, I don't put it past them neither.
So
you know what I mean? This is Hollywood.
I'm just saying that I hope that a lot of this horrific shit that they're talking about didn't happen, and if it did happen, everybody heals well. And at the end of the day, man, everybody get their own piece somehow. You know what I'm saying?
Like a big game of chess, almost.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? That particular situation. I won't say all the. I don't think a big majority of the Me Too situations is that, but that one in particular was like, something else. You know what I mean? Like that was, it felt like more than just a situation. You know what I mean? But like, I'm actually glad the Me Too movement came out.
Yeah, that has merit. You know what I mean? Like it's disgusting, bro, and it's terrible that shit like that happens to women. You know what I'm saying?
Shit happens all too
often.
And
even it happens to men by these people in the industry and little kids, as we know. You know what I'm saying? So. But man. So that's a little highlight type of thing I wanted to talk about, man. But I think without further ado, man, we'll introduce the brother here, man. Ladies and gentlemen, interweblians, I'd like to introduce to y'all today, my brother Mario Valentin, aka better known as the Rising Sun Quest.
What's going on, folks?
Peace, brother. Welcome to the show.
Well, appreciate you having me on, man.
Man, thank you for coming, man. It's an honor, man.
It's an honor. Well, just this is going to be a little bit different of an interview, only because I'm not necessarily here promoting any project or any upcoming events. You know what I mean? This is just a general discussion. I'm going to talk a little bit about some of my activities to promote overall health, and
Cool.
And that's one of the things I like about this show. As I told you, I've listened so far to all of you guys' podcasts, and it's the diversity is pretty dope. You know what I'm saying? Because people might go into it thinking one thing about what they're gonna get, and just the opening show, the very first episode, gave people like a sense of, oh, this isn't gonna be one lane. This is like all different types of discussion. Anything could pop off. So and this is just just to be part of that is pretty dope.
That was definitely man. That was definitely our goal for the first show too. Is we wanted to kind of like get into it, because we did, man. That was a pretty dope show, man. A lot of people.
Yeah, I remember listening. Like I'm like, all right, so they don't have any guests or anything like that. They just let's see what they're gonna talk about, and the topics and the conversations. I thought it was what I was like, yo, this is gonna go somewhere. And then when you started bringing on the guests, I was like, okay,
yeah. And we, like I said, we have MCs coming up, man. We've had like the Native American reservation that was up here. We've had DJs, so it's gonna be very, very, very versatile.
Yeah, you would think like 5 years ago, or maybe a little longer than that, but if you was to say, we're gonna be doing a podcast in 5 years, it probably, you would think that the topic would be it would be something different, but it is what it is. Now I'm on the show discussing something different, because I'm at a different place in life than I was 5 years ago. So
yeah, absolutely. Well, let's talk about that, man. So I want you to let the people know a little bit of what you do as far as like the Spartan races and the what's the other name that you had told me? It's
OCR. So Spartan race is basically a brand, and it's a type of race that I do, and obstacle course racing in general. Like one of the popular ones is called Tough Mudder. People know about the Tough Mudder, but essentially it's like it's a 5K run with a bunch of different obstacles in between, and they have different events at all different fitness levels. So one of the things I try to do is try to encourage my friends of mine and be like, hey, listen, I'm gonna go do an event. You want to come do an event with me? And most of the time, people don't necessarily know about it, and they get intimidated, and they're like, no, I can't do that, and they'll see me post pictures or something like that, and they, oh, you crazy for doing that stuff, and I'm like, it's not crazy. Yeah. You could do it, and exactly. And what always gets me is when somebody says, oh, I want to do that, but I can't do it, and that's kind of why I'm here. I'm not necessarily for anybody who's not interested. To each his own. If you're not interested, that's fine. But it's those people that actually show somewhat of an interest, but then for whatever reason they feel that they can't do it. And I'm like, listen, trust me, I know you could do it. Yeah. I'll help you. You know what I mean? If you want, I'll give you, advice. I'll help prepare you. And people just, they don't follow through. You know what I'm saying? So.
Well, that's why you're here, man, to share with our audience, man, because I want to learn a lot about it. Like, I've seen the obstacle courses and things like that, and it could look intimidating, you know what I mean? But I definitely want to get out there. But let our audience know what sparked your interest in that. What got you into it?
Well, when I came out of high school, right out of high school, I went and into the Army National Guard, so I went to basic training. Went down to South Carolina for my basic training. Then I went to Baltimore for AIT, advanced training. And while I feel like going into the military didn't necessarily advance my, it didn't carve my path the way I thought it would. I will say that the things that I learned there, discipline and just overall character traits about myself. I could attribute that to being in the military, and just one of the things was the training in the military. So when I was, 19 years old,
basic training.
I was Fort Jackson.
That's where I went to.
Yeah, that's what's up. So I was in Fort Jackson, and I remember the bonds that were built in struggling and suffering together. So I would say, as I got older and I got away from that, there was a little part of me that always said, man, it used to be fun to go on. There was a thing called Victory Tower. I don't know if that was there or whatever. But
It was like the last thing, right?
yeah. So it was like an obstacle that they put you through. So
Okay.
as I got older, I used to think back like, yo, that would be fun to do that. So I was at work and one of my coworkers. I don't even know how we got into it, but there was a race in Hartford. It was called Down and Dirty. Down and Dirty Mud Run or something like that, and it was military inspired. And me and my boy were talking, a coworker, and we were like, "Yo, we should try to do that." And because it's something that I always used to think, where could I do something like this? You know what I mean? What place is there around? And we signed up for this race. It was at Riverside Park in Hartford, and I remember getting excited about it. And I was like, "Okay, so I'm not in shape to do this. Let me go for a couple runs." To this point, I hadn't run. For just to run, because at that time I was like, that's dumb. Why would I just run around the block or run here and there? It's not something that I would normally do. But because of this event, I was like, let me go do that. And because I didn't want to do poorly at the event, I was like, let me see if I could try to eat right to make sure I'm prepared for this. And I was reading articles and different things that you should be doing in preparation. So we did the event, and like, it was great. Like, I felt good about myself to have done this, because it was a goal that I set and it's a goal that I achieved. So, that's always rewarding when you set a goal for yourself and then you put in the work and then you achieve that goal. It was a small goal at the time, you know what I mean? And so I was like, yo, this is great. We both had a good time, and we were like, yo, next year we're definitely doing it.
Okay.
The event rolled around again, and same thing, like after the event, I noticed, it started tapering off. I stopped running, you know what I mean? And like I got complacent and, I laid back. And then I found that as the new one was approaching, that's when I started back up again to like, okay, now I'm out of shape. And then everything started hurting again. I started feeling real sore again because I had, tapered off. And then all of a sudden, when I started back up, everything started hurting. And I'm like, if I would have just maintained it, I wouldn't be feeling this over just a simple, run around the block or whatever.
So would you say you got into it more for health reasons, or maybe some type of way to, just release stress, or what do you think really?
Just like I said, there was just an interest of doing it because I enjoyed doing it when I was in the military. And then when you start doing it, and then you kind of just notice some of the benefits, like when somebody goes to the beach or whatever, they want to feel good, they want to look good, so, but how do they get there? Do they just do whatever they do naturally, and then all of a sudden it's like summertime and they want to hit the beach, and they want to have that summer body, we'll say, but if they didn't put the work in, they don't have that summer body. You know what I'm saying? So, everybody wants to look good, but that wasn't necessarily my goal. You know what I'm saying? But I was like, yo, I'm starting to shape up. You know what I mean? I'm at my age now where I think that I can outperform me as a teenager, and that starts feeling good. So, it's like that wasn't necessarily the interest, but some of those other benefits you start seeing, and then you start noticing that when you go, one of your boys calls you up, play basketball or something, all of a sudden now you can play a game of basketball and you're not sore as hell and can't go to work the next day. You know what I mean? So it's those little things that you start noticing as you start doing whatever,
and that inspires you to do more.
Well, I don't know how I got all of a sudden, like I said, it was that one event in 2014 and 2015. I did the other event, and then my boy told me about a Spartan race they did at like Mohegan Sun, and he went and did the event, and I was like, oh damn, I should have did it. Okay. And then so we ended up signing up for a Spartan race, and that was like on a whole new level of like a different experience. Like we signed up. We trained for it, and at that time, I was telling you that, I was staying in New Jersey for a while. So while I was in New Jersey, I would go to Newark, New Jersey for work reasons, and I stayed there throughout the week, and I didn't really, my family's up here, and I was in New Jersey. So what I would do is, I signed up for a Planet Fitness over there. There was a couple different parks that I would go to. There was one called Weekway Park. There was another one. I forget the name of it. It was off of Route 1. You're familiar with Newark, right?
Somewhat.
Yeah,
The GPS is on. I'm familiar.
But so one of the things I would do is like to kill the time, I would go for runs, and like before, it's not something that I would do, but now I found myself, I'm gonna try to see if I can actually complete this thing. And there was some anxiety. I was like, I don't know if I could do it. I was in the same position where, the other people are when I asked them to do a race, and they're like, I can't do it. I was in that same mindset of I don't think I can do it, but it was like I can't do it now.
Yeah.
But if I put in the work, then I'll be able to do it. So.
But that's dope, man. That you were even away from home and you were still training. You know what I mean? Get you in that routine.
Yeah, I mean, part of it is because I was in New Jersey and didn't really have anything else to do. But I was always advised by.
I mean, you could have went to the bar and had a drink, bro. You know what I mean? You decided to do something healthy.
Yeah, that's true. I could have, but I was advised by the locals who I was working with, like, don't just go to some random bar. You know what I mean?
It's true. You can't. This is not Connecticut. Like, you know how Connecticut, you can just hop in a bar. You're just like, okay, we'll get a drink. You don't worry about too much. Maybe a redneck or somebody on you.
Yo, our listeners from New Jersey are gonna hate us, bro. We're always like, yo, watch
out for Jersey. They'll tell you out there, like, bro, don't hop out your car.
We got love for Jersey, man. We just,
no, much love. I'll tell you what.
Talking about our experiences.
My 6 months there of living in Newark was a great experience. To be honest with you, like, matter of fact, there's a Weekway Park. They told me, my coworkers was like, you went where? And I was like, I went to Weekway Park, and it was a nice park. Like, they had a nice little track. You could do like a 2-mile run around the lake, but the surrounding areas were, they were rough areas. But the truth of the matter is, like, every place has rough areas, and you're cautious about, I wouldn't go running there at night, but throughout the day, you know what I mean, like on a day, you can't be afraed to do, I wasn't gonna be afraid to go to the park and go for a run, like, you know what I'm saying.
So I drive Lyft out there, and I get the same thing where you went to Newark, you went to Urban, you went to Orange, and even the people out there, they be like, yo, you from Connecticut? What you doing out here? Oh my God, they look at me like, yo, you're bold, but. I mean, really, it just depends on how you move, right?
Yeah,
and then I mean, honestly, everybody out there I met, I'm pretty sure you had the same experience. It was cool.
Everybody was cool, yeah. And the thing is,
super cool.
That you got to be willing to go out and try. Don't be afraid to do anything. And that's one of the things I wanted to talk about is these events they put me in a position where I want to train. And then, now also, like, it puts me in a position where I want to go see new places. So now, rather than, going to the gym and going on a treadmill, you know what I mean? I know I got to put in the work. I know that in order for me to perform well or get through some of these races, I got to put in some miles. And I don't want that always to be at a gym on a treadmill. So I'll go to a random park and explore and see. And, you could find hidden treasures, like one of the places I like to run here in Connecticut is Naugatuck State Forest. There's a state forest that they have all kinds of trails, beautiful scenery. So that's another thing that doing these obstacle course races kind of did for me, is put me in touch with, like, finding peace myself through nature. You know what I'm saying? Like, it sounds weird to some, but realistically, if you go out there and just enjoy. Just going for a run, it can ease your mind and just
absolutely.
Be at the top of a cliff and you can see, the beautiful scenery that every state has to offer, really. So no matter where you are, you know what I'm saying, there's gems in your own backyard that you may not even be aware of, you know what I'm saying?
So for our listeners, man, can you kind of explain like what the Spartan race or the other kind of races entail? Like, what kind of obstacles do you guys go through, because it's a lot of endurance, man.
I mean, so there's a lot of different events, and Spartan is one of them where generally they have 3 different levels, and they do a great job of marketing, by the way, you know what I mean, because they have like a 3 to 5 mile event, then they have like a 8 to 10 mile event, and then they have what they call the Beast, which is like 15-mile event. And depending on what part of the country you're in, it's like up here, and they do a lot of events in Jersey, and it's on a ski resort. So you might find yourself climbing up, a ski hill, and it's generally but they also have events at like a stadium. So they did City Field Stadium sprint not that long ago. Sprint being like a 3-mile run. So they have you running up, the steps. You get to go through the locker rooms. You get to go through the concession stands. They have the course so that you run a 3-mile race. But for those who are baseball fans, they that's a different kind of experience, which is pretty dope.
That's dope.
So if you're a Mets fan, you're running through City Field, and you get to go on the field.
That's pretty dope.
I did Fenway Stadium. That's usually in November, and for a Boston Red Sox fan, it's pretty dope. You get to run through the park, and for a Yankee fan, you can go over there and spit on the spit on the field if you want. You know what I'm saying? But the types of stuff that they do is they got like monkey bars and they got like things that you lift up and carry for a little while uphill.
You know what I see a lot, man, that people post when they do those type of races is when they're jumping through that fire. Like
that's the finishing thing. So basically, you go through an event and you it's a grueling event. You're putting everything out there. You've been training all this time, and then you finally do the event. So the fire is like the last thing before you cross the finish line.
Oh, okay.
But that's like there's other events where they have the fire in the middle, and it's for some people it's cool to say I jump fire, and then people think, oh, you jump fire, that's crazy. It's like it's not much of a it's not like a tall flame that you're gonna risk injury or anything. It's I think that's that part of it is more for show, but it's a cool photo.
Yeah. I always see that though. That's like the trademark of.
It's a pretty cool photo, but it's an event where you crawl under barbed wire, you know what I mean? And like for me, it's a lot of the stuff I did in the military. But there's plenty of people who don't have any military experience that love doing these things as well, But there's a sense of satisfaction to be able to say, there's an event coming up, I'm going to train for it, and then to successfully do it. And then there's there's the camaraderie from the people that are on the course doing it with you. You know what I'm saying? There's help along the way. So you might have somebody who can't get over an 8-foot wall, and you help boost them up to get them over that. And then for some people, they're like me, I can do all the obstacles, and I feel good when I've practiced something and I can do it. And some people just doing the course is an obstacle for them. You don't know you never know what level somebody's at. Somebody might be out of shape but wanting to get in better shape. That's why you never look at somebody like, oh, he can't even lift that. You don't know what their situation is. You know what I mean? So you might have somebody who got a broken wrist or something. Well, maybe not a broken wrist, but some kind of injury, and you don't know what they're going through. So you never judge anybody, but
So people kind of push each other.
people
along the way.
push and motivate each other. And like everything else, you have people who are way too into themselves. You're always gonna have that with. No matter what you do. So there's going to be people that are like, oh, you can't do this or that, you know what I mean? But really that's life, you know what I'm saying? You're always going to have assholes that make you feel intimidated, but if you're able to just focus on you and whoever you're with and get what you can get out of it, then you basically put all the other stuff to rest.
What should we tell those assholes, man? What should we tell them, man?
I wouldn't say a word to them, to be honest with you. Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah.
Ooh, you suck.
I would say that's one thing you could do, but realistically, like you get from it what you put in, and if your goal is to do this event, and get through most of the obstacles, I'm not gonna judge you like, oh, you can't do the obstacle, because if you got a like a 250 pound, 300 pound dude that is deciding, I'm gonna commit, I'm gonna get things right. You're gonna say, "Oh, you can't do this race." Nah, that's not what it's about, man. You want to encourage him.
Encourage and motivate.
It's like you see somebody at the gym, and they're overweight and they're on a treadmill, busting their ass. You laugh at that person, then you're a fucking idiot. You're an asshole because that person is obviously there because they made a decision that I want to change things. I want to do something better for myself.
Better themselves, yeah.
So why would you judge a person?
Well, what? Those people those assholes and shit. You just gotta stay away from them, man.
Pretty
know what I'm
much,
saying?
yeah.
And keep it moving, man.
So you can those assholes, fuck them. but motivate the people that do want to do better for themselves. You know what I mean? And that's kind of why I'm here. You know, so this is like a reaching out to anybody who might, you know, be saying, you know, I want to hit the gym, but I don't, you know, I don't know if I could do it. You know what I mean? Like, just sign up. You know, the first step to doing anything is to actually commit and you know, to try to initiate and do something. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, man. Well, yo, can we talk about yesterday?
Yesterday was the Jersey Ultra, the Tri-State Ultra, which is something that you know, last year I was saying to myself, oh, I could never do that. So as I was saying, there's like different levels, you know, where if you're gonna do a Spartan race or any kind of race, we'll say a Spartan, you want to start off with a sprint probably. If you've never done it, you know, you want to test the waters. You don't want to jump into a full on, you know, 14 mile event. You know what I'm saying? You know, start off with like the 3 mile and you know, see what you could do. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I did, was starting off with smaller events and working my way up. So yesterday was like the bigger event where it's like, this was 31 miles on the ski mountain.
Damn.
You know what I mean? And but that it took a lot of work to get to the point where I can actually complete that. You know what I mean?
How many hours did you say that was?
For me, I was on the mountain for like 12 hours and some change.
That's
you
crazy.
know what I mean?
That's crazy.
So I wouldn't recommend that as being, you know, but I wouldn't recommend that.
Damn! 12 hours.
I wouldn't think that would be anybody's first event, but I did see people out there who it was their first event. So it doesn't mean you can't do it. It just, I wouldn't recommend it. You know what I mean? But yeah, so basically, it was 12 hours of punishment that I chose to sign up for. You know what I mean?
Yo, that's nothing to laugh at, man.
Yeah.
It's not punishment. I mean, 'cause the thing is, you know, with every challenge you grow, you develop more, you know, mentally, not just physically.
Yeah,
you know,
you learn a lot about yourself.
Right. These exercises aren't just to make your body stronger. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It makes your mind stronger. Because if you go through a situation where you start to feel like, well, I don't know if I can make it up this hill or this mountain, you got to pull from somewhere.
It's about growth.
You know,
that's absolutely true. And that's the thing. So the reason I'm right now, what I did yesterday, I feel, was like, you know, it took me a long time to get to the point where I would even say, I'm going to sign up and I'm going to try this. You know, I was apprehensive. So, but I've been doing this, you know, these types of events for like 3 years now, you know, and it got to a point where, you know, I would do the 5 mile event, you know, and I feel good about it. And then I got to a point where I would do the 5 mile event and be able to do everything like flawlessly. So, you know, I was getting better. And then I said, well, let me try the 12 mile event. And then, you know, then I started getting complacent and saying, you know, well, you know, I don't got to train as hard for the 12 mile event. But, you know, for this one, I felt like I couldn't slack, you know. So that's what I'm saying is I found something that is kind of pushing me to continue to train or to keep me motivated, to keep me in the gym,
progress,
you know. And that's what I need, you know. I'm not saying that obstacle course racing is for everybody, but you know, they have a lot of different things. Like you could do CrossFit or you know, basketball, you know, join a you know, league or something. But if you feel like, you know, you want to do something to change your lifestyle because you think you need it, you know, it helps to commit to something. And you know, this is just something that I feel like I committed to, you know, to do.
That's dope, man. So it definitely, I would say, like a therapy almost, you think?
Yeah, I mean, it can be a therapy. Like definitely like, you know, not that long ago, you know, getting ready for this event, it was like a early Saturday morning, and I said to myself, you know, I'm gonna go out and do a training run. I want to make sure I get it in there. And you know, I woke up and it was cold. It was like, you know, it's springtime, but you know how it's been. It was like cold as hell, and so it's like 30 degrees or 37 degrees or something like that. And I opened the door and I was like, nah, I can't do this. But you know, then I said to myself, I've committed to doing this event. So just because it's cold outside, that shouldn't be an excuse for me to not, you know, put in the work, because If I don't put in the work, I'm gonna be, I would have been yesterday suffering on the mountain as opposed to getting through it. So, I went out and I did a run in the 37 degrees, and you start learning about yourself that I can do this, and you can be in an uncomfortable situation and get through it. So that's another thing that I like about these events is there's times where you're not comfortable and
expanding your comfort zone.
Yeah,
that's always important for growth, man.
Yeah, absolutely. So
not even just because sometimes it's still gonna be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like him being in that mountain, I don't think it's ever gonna just be comfortable. Being that cold or being that tired. But I think it's more like the perception of their discomfort, like what it is that you're doing and why you're doing it, and changing how you see it. Because changing how you see it gives you a different place to pull from, right? So I'll give you an example. If you're working for 12 hours straight, you're at your job, you tired, you ain't got no sleep, you just like, part of you just want to be like, fuck it. But then you're like, yo, I got this bill. You know what I'm saying? I got this bill, and also I got this extra. If I do this extra few hours, I can put this money up and do this with it, and then invest here, boom, boom, boom. So now you're getting all happy because you're thinking about all the other shit you could do with your extra money. So you're like, fuck it, it's only a few extra hours. Let me just do it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like now your whole perception changed. You got more energy now. You was like, before you were just like, fuck it, I don't want to do it. Now you're like, oh, I can do it. So it's all about perception.
Yeah,
I feel, you know what I mean?
That's one of the so the event that I did yesterday, they always say that it's mainly mental. You know what I mean? I put the work in. So physically, I know I can do it for the first 12 miles. I know I can do it. But then the rest of the miles, it's like now I have to dig deep, and now it's about, okay, I can't let a little bit of pain overtake me, or having done, because what it is, the ultra is a beast, the highest level. And then you basically go on the mountain, you do a big lap around the mountain, and then you get to a transition area where you restock all your nutrition or whatever you need. Then you got to get back on the mountain and do the same thing you just did all over again. So basically, you put yourself through that punishment, and then they put the transition area right next to the festival, right next to the, you can smell the barbecue. You have an out where it's like you get to that spot where you can either quit, which is where a lot of the people do quit, and you can say, you know what, I'm not going back out there. And I think they do that strategically so that you have an option to say, get comfortable with giving up and be like, you know what, I did it once and feel good about that and not go back out there. But it's about pushing through it. You know what I mean?
Because there's nothing wrong with failing either if you just get back up and try again. You know
yeah, and that's the thing. So one of the things I felt was the reason I didn't want to do it last year because I was afraid to fail. And I think a lot of times in life we are afraid to do something because we don't want to fail. But you don't necessarily grow from the things that you are good at. You know what I mean? So if you're good at doing something, that tends to be what you want to do. But this is like, I was like, you know what? I really could give up and quit. So I don't want to do that. And this year I said, you know what? I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna work towards it. And if I fail, at least I could say I gave it a shot instead of kind of running away from it, And one of the things that I say to myself a lot is that if somebody did it, it can be done, and if it could be done, then I can do it, So I tell myself that a lot, and so that's
Absolutely.
That holds true with this event, and then just with a lot of different things in life too,
So as far as obviously health is involved, you know what I mean, when you're training and things like that, and that's one of a portion of the show I kind of wanted to talk about with you too, is health. Like how important do you feel health is overall, especially in our communities, man, Black and brown people. Like there's a lot of shit, man, from the liquor stores to the McDonald's. So how do you think that ties in, with getting healthy with yourself, man, and just feeling healthy with what you're doing?
Well, just you don't even necessarily want to say that health is important for what I'm doing. Health, you want to be healthy just in general. You know what I mean? So, but then at the same time, you don't want to deprive yourself of the things that you enjoy either. But realistically, you don't have to. You can still, if you do things responsibly, you can still enjoy all the things that you like to eat. And you can still do the things that you like to do. You don't have to cut everything off. But yeah, I think that health, we don't, our community, our people don't necessarily put too much into it. And maybe we just think we're gonna live forever, but realistically, we have control of how we can live our lives and how we can better ourselves.
A lot of it is tradition too, I think, like the foods and
But
culture.
like I was saying earlier, before we got on the air, is you don't have to cut that stuff out. Like you can still enjoy everything. It's just you just gotta do it responsibly. Like so food intake, like diet, a lot of people say, oh, I'm gonna go on a diet, and a lot of times it's a New Year's resolution that sparks this. So a New Year's resolution might be, I'm gonna hit the gym for this, 2018, this is my year, I'm definitely gonna do it, and they sign up for a gym. And then a lot of times, what do? They sign up for a gym, and then all of a sudden, they might go once or twice, and then they're not at the gym anymore. But the funny thing is, they still pay the membership, and so I know a lot of people over the years where they still got that Planet Fitness, $15 membership, but they're not necessarily going. I see you stretching a little bit. What was that about?
No. It's just, I'm getting old, bro.
Yeah.
Work.
But, so the memberships, I think that a lot of these gyms, they feed off of those types of people, where like, they will take your membership money every month.
Oh wait! You thought I was a little sore or something from the gym? Yeah, right. I'm slacking with the gym. I'll be honest, man.
Yeah, but it is what it is, man. But I'm just saying, like, Planet Fitness is very happy to take your money, and I think subconsciously, like, a lot of times people will be like, well, I joined the gym, so I did something. And I'm talking specifically about the people who have committed to say, I'm gonna do this, but then find ways to not do it. You know what I mean? And so
I think a lot of this is psychological. You know what I mean? Because self-sabotage plays a big part in people's
absolutely
lives.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So when you talk about health and you talk about fitness, it has a lot to do with self-perception, right? Like how you see yourself. So if a person wants to work out, they want to work out to look like how they want to see themselves. You know what I mean? Or how they feel they're supposed to present themselves to people, or a potential mate that they haven't met yet, or to be accepted. So it's more of it's a psychological thing. So and sometimes that's a good start, because it helps a person to start to do the right thing for themselves that they wouldn't do for themselves. You get what I mean? So the reason it might be wrong, because I'm doing this for everybody else and all the wrong things, but then they're starting in a path to be healthy. Now, here's the thing: when a person gets right, you know what I mean, and they look how they want to look, and I see this on a lot of my clients, they look in the mirror and still unhappy. You know what I mean? Because what they were trying to change, they thought they could change in something that they can see. When it's in here that is, that needs to something in here needs to click, so to say. And I think what I've seen in successful cases, that when people work out and are healthy, or at least on the road to try to be more healthy, when their self-perception changes for the better, they don't need validation of any sort outside of them to make them feel whole. They feel good being healthy because they're being healthy. You know what I mean? They feel good working out because, I just feel good working out. Like how you said, you're going through the Spartan races and you're like, I just want to do this because it feels good to me. You know what I mean? So it's not about like, I got to prove I'm this, or I have to present this kind of person to people, or this is my reputation, this is what people expect from me. You know what I mean? Because those kind of pressures can make you kind of like be unhealthy still. You're very stressed, very tense, very, but you're muscle bound and you're vegan. You know what I mean? So like, it's interesting how there's a thin line between what is actually considered healthy and not, depending on where your mind is at.
Right. And not only that, but I think what you just said kind of, makes me think about the fact that the comparisons that people have between themselves and other people. Like when one of the things that might deter somebody from when we're talking healthy, I'm not talking about just diet, but diet and exercise. So you might go to the gym and be intimidated when you see somebody else and you're like, oh, I can't perform like that, or she looks like this, or she looks like that, and then all of a sudden they start viewing themselves, less than, because they're not at this other person's level. And one of the keys is to try to understand that you don't ever want to compare yourself to anyone else, because you're not trying to be them. You're trying to be the better version of yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so while it may sound cliche, it's the absolute truth. When I do these races, they have elite level athletes. Okay, so I told you I was on the mountain for like 12 hours.
Yeah.
There's guys that are on that mountain and they do that same distance and they cover it in 6 hours. Phenomenal athletes, you know what I mean? But I have a job, so I can't put in, like, I'm not gonna say I can't do that. You know, it's not likely, but I think that, you know, I could put in work and get a lot better than where I am.
Yep.
But realistically, you know, I still have, you know, career. I have to feed the family, so you know, I'm not comparing myself to those athletes, and I'm not gonna say, well, I'm not gonna do this because I can't be at that level. What I do is you know, I might do an event and then I'll see how far I've come by, you know, comparing what I did in one event to how I did last year at that same event, you know, and being realistic about my comparisons, you know, because there's always ways you can inflate, you know, this or that to kind of get the truth that you want. You know, be real with yourself, be true to yourself, and say, you know what, I definitely did improve on this, or I'm slacking in this. You know, one of the keys I think to help people, I think, is to track what they do, you know. So like workouts that you do, you know, I would log that. If you're actually serious about trying to make a dent and you know, you want to commit to it, then, you know, track everything you do, all the workouts that you do, the things that you eat, like definitely log that stuff so that you actually have a measuring stick for you measuring against yourself and seeing your progress. So rather than you know, like saying, hey, I want to be at this weight, or you know, or whatever, and then not getting to that weight, but then just being disappointed that you're not at the weight you want to be at, when realistically, what did you do to, you know, change that's going to get you to that point? You know what I'm saying? So that's why I think it's beneficial to log, you know, what you're eating. There's a lot of different apps that, you know, you could use too to track, and then you get a sense of, you know what you might be taking in that's working for you and what's not working for you. You know what I mean?
That's truth, man, because there's this water app that I use. I forget the name of it, man, but it reminds me like when to drink water.
Yeah,
and I try to, you know, it actually, as you drink a bottle of water, you put it in and it fills up. It's like a silhouette of your body, and it fills up, and you're supposed to fill it up all the way to your head. You know what I mean? And
some people might look at that and be like, oh, that's stupid. Well, you know, truthfully, you need to take in a certain amount of water every day, and you know, if you don't actually pay attention to that, you can go through a whole day and realize that, you know, you didn't really drink much water. So, you know, then that's the same thing with calories. Like if you're actually serious, like if you've said to yourself, I want to lose, you know, this much weight, like 10 pounds, we'll say, I want to lose 10 pounds. You know, they have different apps that actually will help you. And then what you do is you just basically, you have to monitor what you're putting in your body, and you'll be surprised at the reasons why you didn't get to where you want to be, because, you know, you remember when RZA said, you know, you got to read the labels. You got to read the labels. You know what I mean? So in your food, they have a nutrition information on there for you to just read. And you might notice that, you know, this bag of Reese's Pieces, 'cause I love Reese's Pieces, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, when I started training for the event yesterday, you know, I started monitoring, and I was like, damn, you know, if I eat this whole bag of Reese's Pieces, you know, I might throw away a whole run that I just did. Like I would have just, you know, gone for a 5-mile run, right, and put in that work.
And that's the crazy part.
And then I'll eat like a bag of Reese's Pieces, and I've just eliminated all the work I just put in. So, you know, sometimes you wonder, well, why ain't I making progress? And it's, you know, because you're not monitoring. It's so easy to slip. Like, you know, there's, you know, a lot of food that we eat is junk food. But if it's done responsibly, it's not junk food.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Moderation, everything in moderation.
But, you know, sometimes I'll
except for coke and meth.
Well, I don't eat coke and meth. I don't know about you guys. Nah, but listen, I want to get into like the second portion of the show, which you have really no idea what it's about. But what can we leave the people off with? That, let's say someone who's interested and wants to get into this Spartan races and all that other stuff. What I don't know, what kind of
words
of encouragement or just you know,
if
info.
if it's something that interests you and you've said to yourself, oh, I've always wanted to do that, then do it. There's the only thing that's stopping you is yourself, really. Anytime anybody wants to do anything in life, it's if you have a desire to do it and you don't go after it, that's on you. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like with this podcast, if you said, oh, I always wanted to do a podcast, but you don't actually put in the work to achieve it, then who's that on? Like that's on you if it's something that you've always wanted to do. So I guess that's one of the things I'd leave with people is don't be afraid and thinking you can't do something, because you would be surprised at what you're capable of doing. Don't ever sell yourself short thinking I'm not good enough, or I'm not, that's for people on that level. There's you're on your own level, whether it be fitness or just anything in general, and so while we're this show is about fitness, a lot of these things apply to other aspects, what I'm saying. So
Absolutely.
But yeah, if it's something that you want to do, Spartan is one of the more popular ones, but there's lots of local events that you can attend. There's a thing called Rugged Maniac out in Massachusetts, which is actually a really fun run. A lot of water slides involved. Shorter course. Good environment, good kind of atmosphere. Less intense, where it's not so competitive, where you actually have those elites.
Yeah.
That you're
So they can start slow. They can start.
Yeah, you can.
at a slower pace.
You definitely start at a slower pace, or just do like a local 5K. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just do something. If you want to do something, just do something.
Cool.
We still got plenty of time, right?
Yeah, we got some time left. Yeah.
One of the things I wanted to bring up is I know I told you that I have a company out in Bristol where I'm the general manager of one portion of the company. So it's actually the company that we moved up from New Jersey. So we basically went down to New Jersey after buying the company. I was down there for 6 months to learn it and move it to Connecticut. We moved it to Connecticut. It's in its own little building. So I have a group of employees. And one of my employees was like, we should do The Biggest Loser. And I was like, what do you mean? So I don't know if you're familiar with The Biggest Loser competition.
Yeah.
I'm not actually. I've never actually watched the show.
Okay.
But he was like, I think we should do The Biggest Loser here with the employees. So we have a Biggest Loser, competition going on at work, where we basically everybody's going to commit for 12 weeks to try to lose a certain amount of weight, or to
as
lose
much as possible,
to lose the most amount of weight. And it goes by percentages. So it's like, if somebody starts out at 250 and I'm at 175, if we both lose 5 pounds, it's not really fair. So it goes by a certain percentage, you know what I mean? But it's one of the things that, because like I said, everything I do, I commit, and if I'm gonna do a Biggest Loser contest, I'm trying to win the Biggest Loser contest, especially at work, when I don't want to have people talking smack about how they beat me at work.
Boss, what's good, boss?
Yeah, so we but it helped me. I was doing some research about eating and different ways. So I'm actually, I think tomorrow's the last weigh-in, and so I think I'm actually gonna to win this one. So I was gonna say, if somebody's out there and you're looking at dropping some weight, one of the tips that I would say that I've learned, the quickest thing that you could do, or one of the easiest things you can do, if losing weight is actually very simple, but it's not easy. So there's a difference between simple and easy. The concept of it is extremely simple. You want to take in a certain amount of calories less than what you're burning. It's very simple. It's just math. That's all it is. But now the easy is, can you actually do it? That's what it's very hard to do.
And staying on top of it.
Yeah. So I was telling my boy the other day. He's like, he wants to try to drop some pounds. And I said, well, if I was to give you a tip, one of the things I would tell you is substitute all of your sugary drinks, substitute it with water or seltzer water. If you do that, if you don't drink your calories, you immediately have an impact on what you're taking in, and that's going to put you in a better position. So just getting rid of, let's just say you drink soda. I forget how many calories in soda. It's been a minute, but if you don't drink, those 3 cans of soda a day and you drink water, right now you're putting less calories in your body, and you have an opportunity to actually start losing and dropping some pounds. And it gives you some freedom to, once you start getting into the, to the rhythm of incorporating that, you can go for that, that junk food that you like to eat, in moderation, obviously. But,
So,
you combine that with a little bit of exercise, you don't even have to go hard at the gym. Just start drinking more water, drink less of the sugary stuff, go for like a 15-minute walk, and you'll start seeing a difference.
So basically, on the final note for the health factor of the show, basically, pretty much just get out there, do something and monitor yourself.
Yeah, but and by no means I'm not an expert in anything in terms of like with health or fitness. I'm just based on the research I've done for myself. Those are some of the things that I found.
Cool. Dope, man. Dope. Well, that's it's a lot of info there, man. And I think our interweblians out there, our listeners, I'm pretty sure some people, are even into it themselves. Some are just learning.
Yeah.
So that's great info, man. Actually, I want to get into the second part of the show, man, which is kind of just talking about music a little bit, your music career and what you do. I mentioned earlier what your name is. Can you just remind the people what your music stage name is, or what you go by?
It is the Rising Sun Quest was, when I would perform or the music that I have out there, that's how you would be able to find it. So if you were to do a search, you'd find some of my stuff.
And what kind of music was it?
It's hip hop music, You already know it's hip hop.
I know,
music.
Our listeners,
Yeah.
We got, believe it or not, man, we got listeners from all over the place, man, all over the world.
Yeah.
So definitely. So the hip hop music, man, and so I know you kind of shied away a little bit from the scene in recent years.
Yeah, it's been a while since I actually picked up a mic and did my thing.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, this being in front of the microphone just started giving me flashbacks. Because I spent so much time in front of the mic in the studio. And just hearing myself in the headphones is giving me good memories, because hip hop, I know that you've touched on it on a couple of other episodes, and that's one of the things I found dope is the way that you you got into the topic of hip hop with the DJ and then with the MCs, but hip hop is a culture, it's part of us. So just because I don't spit no more doesn't necessarily mean that I'm not still part of hip hop. Is a part of me, you know what I mean? And
you could get out of it, but you can't get it out of you.
It's who we are, It's not something that we it's who we are. So it's how you live. It's there's 5 elements to hip hop. So if you're an MC, that's one. If you're a breaker, that's another. If you're a bomber, that's another. If you're a DJ, that's another. But that 5th element that doesn't always get labeled as the 5th. You know what I mean? Like that's because that's what's in us, all of us. Even the ones that don't perform or don't necessarily have like that special skill of one of the 4 key elements. That 5th one is us. It's who we are, the culture. Knowledge and understanding.
What made you stop?
Well, just you gotta have a passion for what you do. So I just. No, as we touched on a little bit before, the lyricism was what I found to be the key in hip hop for me. Like that's what I love to do, lyricism. So I just found that it started to get to a point where the lyricism wasn't appreciated, and the beats were taking precedence, and people they weren't interested too much into what people had to say. Like one of my favorite things was to drop a dope verse, and then people would listen to it and take from it an experience, or take from it something more than just that was dope. It had to have some meaning and some purpose. So the meaning and the purpose, I wasn't seeing people get that. Maybe I wasn't delivering it, but and then just I love to perform. I love to be on stage, and the grind for a local artist is one that you actually have to grind.
You gotta invest in yourself a lot.
You have to invest in yourself, and not only that, you have to be willing to have those miserable days where it's not gonna go right. And I just realistically, where I was at in life, I couldn't put the required effort into the music, and if I can't give it 100, then it's not something that I really should be doing, because it's something I felt I had to do 100. Like with the racing and stuff that I do, this is something that I do spare time. It keeps me motivated. But do I necessarily say I'm putting 100% effort into it? No, this is just something I actually I enjoy doing it. And I get rewarded at the races. Just going out there having a good time or whatever. But hip hop is, to me, that's real. Like I have to be 100% all in. And I
Absolutely.
the sacrifices that I felt I would have to do, I couldn't do it.
And a lot of people go through that. I mean, to cut you off. A lot of people deal with that. I feel, especially in Connecticut. It's like not even just Connecticut. Now you really think about it, there's a big age gap almost nowadays between the artists that are being listened to more, and the ones that have been put a lot of time into the music, but didn't really see the rewards. So let's say Connecticut, there's a whole older generation of MCs that really didn't get the shine, you know what I'm saying, that they deserve. And that was probably because we were pre-internet age.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So we weren't able to, even though the internet existed, we didn't utilize it enough to really push our products. There were only certain artists during that era that actually utilized the internet and kind of still relevant because of that. Joe Budden's one of them. You know what I mean? He's a lyricist, but he don't even do music anymore because some of the same reasons. You know what I mean? But his presence is still relevant because he knows how to market itself. But now let's take an independent artist, that doesn't have the kind of money to be consistent with marketing yourself if it's not coming in from the music. It's tough. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, well, what do I do? But nowadays, you can promote yourself for a little bit of money out your check each week. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So now these artists are finding ways to stay relevant and stay present the ways that we weren't, because we didn't have ways where I could take $100 out of my check and be seen by thousands of people. Man, I mean, the option just wasn't available.
It was like, I remember coming up when I was doing music, it was like you're paying a bunch of money for studio time, and then you're paying to have flyers printed up, and then you got to go out and get those flyers in the people's hands. You know what I mean? And so it was definitely a grind, but because we weren't exposed to the ease of it now, it was a grind we were willing to do and we knew we had to do. And I remember the first time I try to always stay ahead of the curve. And I remember one of the first joints we put out where we put that joint on a CD, and it was like a big deal to have that on a CD. Yeah. We had our music on a CD, and then I went the extra mile, and I was like, yo, if we're gonna do a CD, I want the logos and all that. So I remember being one of the first cats in in the Waterbury area that had his music on CDs, and it was a big deal.
That used to be a big deal.
You know what I mean? So, and it wasn't even just we press it. And I remember folding, we would print out. We spend a dumb amount of money, but we would print out. Go to Staples. Yeah, go to Staples and print out a whole bunch of stuff, and we'd be in my house folding them up and prepping them to package them up, and then we have them in our trunks, drive around. And I remember them days.
Those days were fun, man. I ain't gonna lie. I remember that because I had to put a project out too. I put a couple of projects out, and this was when my health was real bad, so it's my only form of income. So I was like, I'm just gonna sell these CDs for now because I have nothing else to do right now. Nothing else. No other way to get any kind of money. So I would just find. I don't know how I sold them music. I don't know how I sold them CDs. You know what I mean? They were instrumental CDs. I had no words or I was just selling my beats. And people were buying it. I was shocked. I was like, they were buying it. It was all about marketing. It showed me marketing. If you just really present the product.
Yeah, that's what I always found important. You weren't gonna have my music on some regular tape or whatever. I always wanted it to be good because I understood that like anything else, the package that you present is the first impression. It's what people see, and the music could be dope. That's on the CD or whatever. But if you nobody's gonna buy it because it looks like it's shit. You know what I mean?
Presentation is everything, man. That should be at the top of what
like
anybody
for
does.
instance, you got a good presentation here. So when somebody tunes in, they're like, okay, this looks like a respectable. They're going to be more willing to listen because it looks like has the potential just off the rip. But if it was looking like somebody's somebody's dirty bedroom or something like that, and then doing a podcast from there, it would look suspect, even though it might be a good show.
Yeah,
But,
people look at that stuff though, little things, even though sometimes it doesn't even matter.
A lot of times it don't matter.
It don't.
Like Joe Budden got a podcast.
People look
when
at
he
it,
first started, like the first, I don't know how many episodes of his podcast. It's in a room. He got a little poster in the back. He just chilling. It ain't nothing extra,
Yeah.
I think it also depends on how you present yourself.
Content, everything.
Content.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
But he did have a name,
Right.
So
Yeah,
he
that
had
helps.
that
That
advantage. So, but you take just any average person and put him in the same setup. It's
I have to beg a differ. You got DJ Academics too. Nobody even knew what he looked like for the first few years he was doing his videos, and all of a sudden he showed up on Complex. Well, what's the name of that show? What's the name of that show that they had with Joe Budden, DJ Academics, and
I forget.
You know what I'm talking about though, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
I'm not
It was a
familiar.
real popular podcast that they had. It was a video podcast that they had, and what they did was DJ Academics had his YouTube YouTube channel show. He didn't show his face. He just had a bunch of GIFs or loops of people, like a certain artist, have a rumor or something about them. He'll just talk about it. So it'll just be his voice over a loop of pictures, a loop of videos of this one artist. And it's like literally hundreds of thousands of views from that. And then he was in his mom's basement doing this and had no... You know what I mean? It was a bad mic. This mic is great. Like, he didn't have this mic. You know what I mean? He had like a regular old mic. You know what I mean? It wasn't nothing extra.
Yeah.
So then all of a sudden, because of them numbers and how he presented himself and his passion and just taking advantage of the tools that he had, now he's a world, everybody, pretty much, even if you don't know who he is, you've heard of a DJ Academics.
Yeah, definitely heard,
right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I just think now we're in a different era where people want to feel like they know you. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
People,
more intimate.
Yeah, they want to feel like that. People will buy into whatever you have if they feel like they know you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But now I think the as far as back to the music a little bit, that's another thing that I found that coming up, skill was what was important. If you were an MC, like you had to be able to deliver, lyrically or presentation. But now it's a different aspect. It's like it's more of a presentation, like who you are, your swag. I guess that's what's valued now amongst the the younger listeners.
Gimmicks.
You know what I'm saying? Like
I always disagree with this subject. I'm gonna tell you why. Because there are good artists out there.
No, there's plenty. I'm not gonna be.
I'm
one
not
of those,
saying it, but
yeah.
there's I think we always go like Uzi Vert to like somebody that's obviously whack. You know what I'm saying? Like as the representation of this new generation.
Well, the people that are getting highlighted, you know what I'm saying? That's
right, but that's the thing. Everybody I know, they ain't talk about them niggas. You know what I'm saying? They talk about the people that are dope that actually making good music. You know what I mean?
and I
and that was the same way in our era.
Yeah.
Though. We had whack people that would get promoted like crazy. But we talked about the people that we was like, yo, this is crazy.
Yeah.
And I think the reason why people now like people to be more personable, because we're in an age of where we're exposed to everybody exposing their dirt or exposing their secrets, whether it be reality shows or whether it be on social media, or whether we live in a world where people just talk about their lives. So we expect that from our artists too, especially being that our artists are built to be able to express their personal lives versus not. These we look for that from them. So now we're in an era where I can see more of your life. I want to see all your life damn near now because you're gonna you represent an idea. Each artist represents an idea now. You know what I mean? So I think that honestly, to me, I've heard some better lyricism now than I've heard in the '90s. And I'll keep it a buck. It just depends on who you're listening to.
Yeah, it's just not as accessible. You know what I mean? Like you have to dig for it.
You gotta look for it. You gotta find it.
I think you guys touched on this on one of the other shows too. But that's definitely key. Is now what's being presented to us is just something that we don't associate with. It's what they're trying to shove down our throats.
and that's what people mostly talk about because it's what's in your face. But of course, there's MCs out there that
There's way more nice MCs than it is white.
All day,
Way
all
more.
day.
Oh my gosh! Like I feel like this is the golden era, honestly, because there's so much music I will never be able to hear. Because there's so much music being put out that's really good, but I would never be able to because there's so much of it. But, you know, again, it's just more so we think of the people that are being promoted as representations, but they're not. Most of the people out here, they talk about Cambada, Joyner Lucas, Kendrick, J. Cole, Freddie, whomever else, and people I don't know about, but they actually have something to bring to the table. I rarely hear about people going crazy over people that are just horrible. It's only people who just listen to music passively and don't care about it. But people who are like really like music, this shit dope. You know what I mean? It's all about perception. You know, perception of the matter.
Yeah, man. I don't know if you ever heard any of his work, man. But Quest is amazing, man. He's one of my favorite MCs out of Connecticut, bro. He's on a couple of the mixtapes that we put out for the brand.
Cool.
So he's on there. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, that's how we met. We met back in the MySpace era. You know what I'm saying? That was shit. That was back in 06, 07, I think, bro. Era. And we've been connected ever since then, man. We, you know, like I would go and support his shows and all that. The brother's nice, man.
He took some dope photos at a couple of shows.
Photos too, yeah. The photos, the clothing, like we intertwined everything, man. So when he told me that he kind of fell back from the music, man, that shit broke my heart, man. I would get it. I'm like, you sure, bro? Like, you sure? I'm like, you're just saying that. Nah, come on. Because I know his caliber, man. But,
but the thing is, if your heart's not in it, and I just I allowed my measurements of success to cloud my passion and joy, and just I couldn't find a balance where I could just be content, doing my music and not be just clouded by okay, you're doing your music, but what are you doing to get it out there? And I just couldn't separate it, you know what I mean? And so having somebody in your corner to help push and promote, that's always beneficial, because then it allows you to focus and do your task. And then you have the people who are in place that they don't rhyme. But another thing about this generation is, well, I don't want to say generation, I start sounding old, but just these days, everybody seems to be an artist, you know what I mean? And that makes it difficult, because now, you trying to recruit people to be in your camp to help push yourself, but you run into the everybody wants to also be this shining light. So
definitely flooded.
It's overly saturated.
A lot of artists out there. It's a lot of producers. There's a lot out there.
So when's the last time you touched the mic, man? When's the last time you did a project, or how long has it been, bro?
Nah, it's been many years, man.
Yeah.
I think, like, memory wise, I think when my boy passed away quite some time ago, maybe 5 years ago, and I wrote a song for him. Then there was I think that might have been the last thing I actually wrote and recorded, because I think at that point I was starting to taper off, and but I can't recall. I know that I have a bunch of unreleased stuff that I sat on, and a bunch of verses that were written that just maybe I didn't have any beats to, that just kind of sitting there.
How about like a freestyle? I remember actually going out to New York to support you, bro. To come. Remember you did the EO Dub?
Yeah.
End of the week.
Yeah, that was
a minute ago. But
that was the MC challenge. That was one of the most fun nights, man. Because I remember, I believe it was Pumpkinhead that was there.
Yeah, rest in peace, Pumpkinhead.
C-Ray's Walls. Big time underground heads. Yeah. So it was like
that was a dope night.
Yeah, it was like us going to New York and representing and doing our thing in the city where hip hop was birthed. So that was definitely dope.
Well, when's the last time you freestyle? You remember the last time you freestyle?
Not freestyling forever, man.
Well, yo, listen.
You ain't about to do that, man.
Listen, I just want to let you know there's something we have that's is fairly new, because you're the second person that's an artist that's up here. It's called the Art of War Freestyle Session now.
Yeah, but I'm not an artist. That's the thing.
Listen.
This is the setup.
Listen, it's not a setup, man, and I'm not going to force you to do nothing.
It's a booby trap.
But, because I know the caliber and what you do. I put a little something together. If you'd like to. If not, that's fine too, man. I respect it, brother. So, but, I'm definitely, I would love for you to do something if you're up for it, man.
You know what? We could do an experiment if you want. We could do like an experiment to see if lyricism is really like riding a bike. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because listen, I'm gonna be 100% with you. You wrong for this. Like you know, the crew that I came up with, the Ant Farm affiliates, you know, my boys still, they rhyme still, you know what I mean? But they will tell you that, you know, I've been checked out.
Yeah, I know. Like I said, you don't, bro, we don't have to do it. You know what I mean? It's just something.
No, we'll do it. Do it. See what's. I'll see if you know, it's freestyle though, because not freestyling like how,
written.
Yeah, because you know those days are.
Are y'all
over.
hearing them pops in the headphones?
Pops,
Nah,
No.
that's just me. All right, nah, it's because I keep.
So tell me what it is you're trying to do here, because you know this is I thought we would still be talking about racism at this point. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I mean that's why
you stopped that a while ago. We got into music.
I mean, well, we spoke for a good like 45 minutes about that. You know what I mean? So we're already an hour and 15 minutes in.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that's why I kind of want, you know. But
Oh,
I did want to talk about the music, you know, for a little bit. But I mean, this is what I had in mind, bro, right here.
What is this?
You see? From New York.
Okay, let me see. Do I have it? Let me tell you, this is straight madness. Maybe magic. The fact that you got me rhyming on this track that I haven't heard in quite some time. It's an instrumental. Talking about things that are detrimental to your health, but stealth. Like mathematics coming out of nowhere, out the attic. Wait a minute, let me just spaz quick. Sitting here talking about different things that I do on my spare time, but still in the swing, or better yet the mix, not pulling no tricks. Well, actually you are, from your sleeve, even though you're wearing short sleeves. I don't believe you would do this to me, but still, I can clearly see, it is like riding a bike. Let me tell you right now that in my sight, I have a little bit of water, which I talked about earlier. And now I'm telling you right now that I don't really have it cause I'm rusty, but you know what? It's still gonna be just as dope as it was back when I used to be on the microphone just to prove to anybody out there that it's like who's who of rocking the mic or the beat. Yo, let me tell you right now, back on the street when it used to be just me with a mic in my hand, be the rising sun quest to just let you understand the fact that they would demand nothing but realness and be like, yo, that's dope, but do you feel this? If you don't feel it in your heart, don't start, because if you getting some whack shit out your mouth, then you get picked apart in a battle or any type of session. I'm not talking about a Smith & Wesson, but blasting you with something that'll leave you with a bad impression or good impression, depending on whether or not you understand what I'm saying. You might need to stop, because in this room it is kinda hot, and maybe it's just this dope hoodie that I forgot to promote. This ain't no joke. Self-mathematics, knowledge of self, that's the quote. Yo, let me tell you now, got the beats playing, how I get down. Yo, this is.
You saw how he went in on that though? He kept on going in.
No, it's been a minute, man. It's been a minute. Yeah,
that's it.
Only for you, I guess. You know what I mean?
Man. I know you're gonna kill me after the show, after we get off here, man.
It's, you know what? You know who might? You know, my boys who have asked me to freestyle, you know, it's been, you know, I'd be like, nah, I don't do that no more. They can be like, yo, but you did it on that podcast, right? But like, yo, that was not the intent.
Yeah, nah. I mean, you know. I had to, bro. You know I had to, man. But yo, did you see how he
rode the bike?
He rode the bike, but then he started pedaling fast too.
It was like, and then he heard it, so I'm like, oh wait, that was kind of good. Hold on. What am I saying next?
No, but that's what I'm saying though. Like that's when I really started nodding when that Mims joint came on, because that's how he do, man.
Yeah. Well, do we want to ride out with another one? What's the topic? Give me a topic.
Let's see.
This is just, you know what? This the first time you did it or second time you did it?
This is the second time, but never a topic like that. So.
All right, give me a topic. So what we could do is, this could be a new segment of your show for when artists or MCs come up here.
Yeah.
Let's see if they can rock with some type of topic that you give them.
Past life.
Past life? All right.
Cool.
Let's see.
Let me just bring back the beat a little bit. So what is it? Past life? All right.
Past life. It's not the question. We could be talking about a resurrection or something that we feel like we've done. Here we are Am I on the run or just running from something that I don't know? Something that I did before that just goes, flows through my brains, flows through my mind. Rising Sun Quest, but that was that time. This is a new time where I would do something different than what I used to. So you might hear me pause only because the flaws that I have inside me is what I show to y'all. Hold on a second, let me see what I could do in the future as opposed to what I used to. I think I said that twice, but that's because it's like deja vu, or better yet, a buzz from getting high on life. Am I that nice? No, I was that nice. When? In a past life. Now, I'm telling you, what I do now is a little bit different, but what I do, how it's done, is pretty much the same. All I know is when I approach, it's never lame. So, whatever lane I choose, I let you know that you might find yourself bruised and battered, shattered. But it don't really matter because I know the data that is inside my head is something that after life will then carry on, maybe even way beyond the solar system. Stay strong.
Yes, sir.
That's off the top, yo. I demand MCs never lose sight of that. You know, like as you come up, always try to hone those skills and be able to come off the top, because it's, I tell you what, when you perform in front of people and you're able to like really connect with them and spit something that's in the moment, that's like the best performances, man.
Yeah, man. Yo, thank you for that, man. Like I said, you didn't have to do it, man. I didn't want to put no pressure, but
I'm gonna look back at this and it's gonna be whack.
I did definitely want to.
that bike and rode it, though.
Yeah.
You got more to do with the second.
And imagine, he said that's Rust. Imagine when he's
nice.
trust me. Everybody out there, please go Google the Rising Sun Quest. The Rising Sun Quest. Google that and man, listen.
Journey Towards the Sun, if like, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That was a pretty dope. That's something. See, the thing is, I know you guys were talking about that on the last one of the podcasts, and you talked about music being timeless. So I feel like, you know, even though I haven't done it in forever, I guarantee that if you did listen to the stuff that I used to do, I think it's still, you know, it's like it's timeless. So you could listen to it now and still connect with it. So
what's the what are the like platforms you could find your music on?
I've stopped really dealing with social media, but you know, if you Google like Rising Sun Quest, you'll find, like, cause I got tons of stuff that you know, you're not gonna take it down. It's like videos.
Yeah, videos. Are you on SoundCloud?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't personally have my stuff, but you know, there's over the years there's been people who have uploaded. You know, they've taken the albums and uploaded the songs. So doing a Google search, you'll find the music Rising Sun Quest.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yo, man, thanks again, man, for that, man. Like I said, you know, it was, I know it was unexpected, but I had to, bro. I had to, man. Especially since, you know, you broke my heart all these years. I've been waiting. I had to hear something tonight, man. I had to.
Yeah, true.
But nah, man. Listen, thank you for coming up. You know, thank you for the freestyle and talking about the music, and thank you for coming up here and, you know, talking to our guests as well about health and the importance of health and you know, just being healthy and these Spartan races and you know, just basically health of the mind too, and focusing and growing.
Don't, you know, I guess one of the things just to leave, you know, on this one note is never sell yourself short. You know what I mean? Like, if you feel that you want to do something, don't be the reason you're not doing it, and don't let anybody else be the reason you're not doing it. You know, because you are you're capable of plenty and more than you even know. So, you know, whatever it is you want to do, make sure you go after it and get it.
Absolutely, man. I think that's a dope way to actually leave the show, man. So my interweblians, man, thank you for tuning in once again. Remember, backyardmeccashow.com, Backyard Mecca Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Keep up with us. We could keep up with you. Don't forget to email us at backyardmeccashow@gmail.com. Any questions, any shit you want to talk, anything, man, opinions, whatever, man, it's welcome, man. So once again, thank you for tuning in. We will be back next week. Look out for this episode video coming out on YouTube on Sunday, and we'll see you on next Wednesday. Peace, peace, peace.
interwebs.